Hey heroes, Cap here, and today I want to show you exactly what Black Widow learned in the Red Room that she uses in the game. I want to break down some tips and tricks and kind of show you things that I've learned about Black Widow as I play her a lot in Marvel's Avengers. So let's dive in, let's check it out and see exactly what Black Widow can do. And if you go on to enjoy the video, be sure to smash the thumbs up and hit the subscribe for more videos coming your way, Marvel's Avengers and Marvel related and just gaming related in general. Now that's out of the way, let's jump in and take a look at exactly what Black Widow can do. Alright, so we have Black Widow here, and the first thing I want to take a look at is actually one of her skills, and that will be under specialty. You'll find it right here under the support heroic, the Veil of Shadow specialization 1, and that is Dark Thorn. Now, for the longest time, I had on Shadow Gifts because the percentage on this is broken. Pretty much anytime I defeated an enemy while I was invisible, they dropped a heroic pack, which allowed me to get my heroics up even faster. But if you take a look at Dark Thorn, it says that there's 20% increased damage to nearby enemies, but that's not all. Let me show you. What's not in there is that Dark Thorn actually drops a Widow's Bite that does not affect your overall Widow's Bite count. So let's jump in here. Oh, I don't have my heroics yet. Haha, there we go, now they do. And boom, right there, the Widow's Bite. Pretty much eliminated all enemies, no heroics. However, with all the new damages and statuses that we have, we can easily get my heroics back up to the level that we need. Now taking a look back at her skills, the reason I really had the Shadow Gifts is, one, I dropped a heroic orb when I did a takedown, but if I did a takedown while invisible, I dropped 2 heroic orbs. But now with everything else in the game that includes like sonic damage and new perks that allow for heroic charge rates while you're just normally hitting enemies, your heroics recharge at a good amount of rate if you have the right amount of perks and gear on. So definitely take a look at Dark Thorn, as it releases an extra Widow's Bite within your vicinity, and it does not count towards your already stacked amount of Widow's Bites that you have. Now along the lines of the Widow's Bites, the next thing I want to take a look at is the ultimate heroic ability over here, and that's increasing the damage of the Widow's Bite by 20% for Power Surge. So you want to make sure that you hit that Power Surge before you start shooting off those Widow's Bites. So let me show you here. Let's make sure we've got infinite heroic meter just to show it off. We've got exos and adaptoids. So we want, yeah, let's do exos and adaptoids. Let's get the big guys in here and show off exactly what Widow can do. There we go. So the first thing we're going to do is activate our Power Surge, and then we get out of there. But just 1 or 2 of these will make sure to knock out pretty much any enemy that comes at you. See, on the normal adaptoid, let's shoot off 2. That second one was maybe overkill. Let's shoot just 1. As he ticks down, he's getting that shock damage. Don't do that. But this is also another way for Widow to pretty much apply her own battery to any enemies within the vicinity. This is kind of broken to do unlimited heroic power. Holy cow. Just constant Widow Bites? Is that a possible thing, actually? That might be pretty cool. But as you can see, their shock meters pretty much fill up instantly from the Widow's Bites. So make sure you have good intensity on, that way you can knock these enemies out as fast as possible. So along the lines of Widow being her own battery, she instantly applies shock damage with those Widow Bites that you can see, and as well as with her heavy attacks with those batons. You see the electricity there. She instantly applies shock damage to all enemies while using those abilities. So make sure to power up and use her effectively by pairing a positive status such as PEM, Plasma, with the negative status of shock. That way you get instant battery, you don't have to rely on your teammates, and you can take down the enemies faster in that manner. As well as with her shock grenades that she has. I have the cluster grenades on right now for a wider spread, but you can choose whether they're closer together or ones that are delayed and wait until the enemy comes near. The next thing I want to take a look at is Black Widow's ability to stay invisible. A lot of the perks that she's getting from the raid and raid gear that you get deal with her invisibility. For example, this one's Stealth Breaker with an increased damage when invisible is active. Widow's pretty much designed to just stay lurking in the shadows, and up until the raid happened, I wasn't using the Norn Stone for the damage boost. I was actually not using consumables either. I was actually using the Vishanti Appendix, which allows you to go invisible for out of the blue in case my Veil of Shadows isn't up or I'm getting surrounded, but it also allows me to increase my willpower recovery effectiveness and my melee crit stacks to extend the duration of my invisible abilities. This pretty much allows me to stay invisible if I have the right amount of skills and perks on to where I can increase the chance of my melee crits and stay invisible for a longer period of time. And while I'm invisible, of course, I'm also getting that 15% increased damage from perks or from the skills that are selected in the tree, and I'll show you a couple. So we've already talked about Darkthorn, which is the 20% increased damage to nearby enemies when activating it, which is kind of what you see, that explosion happens when we throw down the Veil of Shadows, but also the extra Widow's Bite that we get thanks to this ability. As well as Black Widow has her own section for invisibility that allows you to make sure that her invis makes her incredibly powerful. So an increased critical attack damage while invisible by 15% on right there. I've got my heroics recharging faster while I'm invisible, which means if I can stay invisible longer, they're going to recharge faster, and I can just continue to stay invisible, shoot off those Widow's Bites, and stay on Power Surge, and even stack Power Surge as it stacks and makes Widow even stronger than she was before, as well as an increased status damage while invisible. So not only am I applying my normal damage in case I'm not hitting the light combo or heavy combo finishers, but I can get increased status damage, so when I'm shooting my high caliber with my Sonic, it's instantly applying it and getting more damage on the enemies. Things you can't see are the deadliest, and that is proven with Widow and her abilities in this manner. The other thing I really like about Black Widow is her ability to kind of mix around the major artifacts. Now, for the longest time, I've seen countless people running the Norn Stone, or they're using the Tactagon because they're getting increased status damage. With Widow, you can really kind of interchange these in and out. So the Norn Stone for the damage boost, but if that ever gets changed or we're not feeling the damage, I've even been running the Vishanti Appendix, which that's still my go-to major artifact because it relies on my invisibility, and that's how my Widow's designed. You don't see her coming, but you definitely feel her hitting. The Vishanti Appendix is the perfect major artifact for Black Widow. I will die on that hill. Don't need the damage buffs. I've rarely even relied on damage buffs. You can take a look at the gear that I have on now. There's not a single piece of gear that relies on damage buffs or anything like that. It's all designed for her heroics and her heroics to put out max amount of damage and staying invisible for the longest amount of time. That's why the Vishanti Appendix for Black Widow is probably the perfect major artifact. If you want to try to debate me, let me know in the comments below. Let me know if I'm wrong, if you agree. Have you even tried out the Vishanti Appendix? Let me know. But you can also combine her with the ring. That way you can get random orbs, you can get regen packs, heroic orbs, intrinsics, because for the longest time my Black Widow was kind of squishy. She went down quite a bit, but now with the new raid gear and everything, her defense is much better. Plus you can get the willpower recovery effectiveness from the Vishanti Appendix. So definitely check it out. It's my favorite major artifact to run on Black Widow and makes her even that much more deadlier. So there we go. There's a couple tips and tricks to use along the way with Black Widow and showing her off, and kind of things for you to try, see what works, see what doesn't work. A lot of people are running like Iron Mans or Thors, and there's not enough Black Widows out there. So use this to power up your Widow. Get out there, show off the world what Widow can do, and come on over to Twitch where I stream live. I play this game a whole bunch. Let's group up. Let's see what your Widow can do and how well it compares to mine. As always, heroes, stay amazing. And until the next video, bye-bye.